Hola y bienvenidos a Peruvians of USA, Peruanos de Estados Unidos, un podcast en español, inglés y spanglish donde compartimos las diversas historias del inmigrante peruano. Mi nombre es Nathalie Sofía y soy una chica peruana que vive en los Estados Unidos por más de 20 años. Welcome to Peruvians of USA, the podcast in Spanish, English, and Spanglish where we share the diversity of the Peruvian immigrant experience. My name is Nathalie Sofia, a fellow Peruvian living in the US for more than 20 years. So let's get started. Season 6 of Peruvians of USA is proudly brought to you by Alpa Foods. Start your day with a burst of energy, productivity, and positivity by embracing a morning routine that includes a flavorful cup of Peruvian coffee. I love kicking off my day with journaling and savoring a cup of Alpa Foods signature coffee. They also offer superfoods like rich nutrient quinoa, energizing maca, antioxidant-packed cacao, and naturally sweet lugma powder. These products are a true celebration of our heritage and a boost to your well-being. Support a brand that values quality, sustainability, and culture. Visit alpafoods.com and taste the tradition in every bite. That's ALLPA Foods. And here's something special just for our Peruvians of USA listeners. Use the coupon code PeruviansUSA at checkout and get 15% off your entire purchase. Don't miss out on this exclusive discount and bring the taste of Peru into your home today. This season of Peruvians of USA is brought to you by Ana Isabel Photography. Are you looking for a photographer who can capture your professional and personal piece of history? Look no further. Ana Isabel specializes in events, headshots, and family portraits, helping you show up as your best self in every shot. With her expert eye and attention to detail, Ana ensures that each photo captures your essence, making the experience seamless and stress-free. Since 2019, Ana has been capturing my family photos, first with my parents and now with my husband and little one. Every session has created memories we'll cherish forever. Whether it's stunning wedding photos or timeless family portraits, Ana has the skill and expertise to bring your vision to life. Don't wait. Visit AnaIsabelPhotography.com today to book your session and start creating memories that last a lifetime. This is a very exciting episode. It just kind of came together last minute. Peruvians of USA is turning 5 years this July. So it's Peruvian Sisters, and so it's We Are Kuska with Sissy. The four of us came together to reflect on the last 5 years. We were just talking about how I've been trying to interview Peruvian Sisters for 5 years. And it's taken this long. Unfortunately, our schedules have not aligned until now, but we're so happy that it has. We have a guest host in this episode. It's Sissy Paulino, so she'll be facilitating the conversation. But first, I'll go ahead and ask each of you to do a quick introduction. Hi, thank you for inviting us. This is honestly very last minute, but hey, last minute things are always the best. So my name is Sissy, to those who know me, and my page is We Are Kuska. And initially, my page was something else. It was a business, and now I became a content creator fully on my page. What I do is the telling of being Peruvian in the US, navigating two cultures, which is like American culture and Peruvian culture, and this desire to stay connected to Peru. So that's pretty much how I could describe my page.
Hi, thank you, Natalie, for having us. My name is Whitney, and I am one half of Peruvian Sisters. So, Sam and I, we started our page during the pandemic. We wanted a sense of community. If it couldn't be in person, at least it could be online. And we never would have expected how it would have grown and how many people would have related to our stories, our upbringings, growing up in the US, being first generation. It's been a fun ride, and I'm just excited to see where else it goes.
Now, Sam.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I'm the other half. Yeah, to add on what my sister was saying, yeah, at first it started off as like a brainstorm, and then it started off as like, no, we can actually build this into something. But to what she was saying, we didn't expect it to blow up as much as it did. And I'm honestly just grateful for all the love and support that we've gotten. Both of us are obviously grateful for everyone that we met along this journey as well. And we hope to continue more and, support other people and have other people support us too.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to hand it over to Sissy to get us started with this conversation.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. I'm okay.
I prepare well under pressure. um, so this is something I always ask because is I think I told Whitney when I was in New York that it's crazy after 5 years we're meeting in person. And it's insane that we live in different parts. I live in California and Natalie is in the DMV
BC.
area, New York. Yeah. So like we all very separated, but somehow we found each other. So I guess my first question is like, because one day he just literally, we just one day we woke up and it's like, hey, I'm going to make this project. So how was that? How was that for both of you? So for Peruvians of USA and Peruvian Sisters, like what was the motivation? Like,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. So I actually had been thinking about a podcast for a very long time before I launched it. I was thinking of various topics, and there was a little bit of imposter syndrome from every topic I picked, right? Whether I'm pretty passionate about financial literacy, so I thought about launching something related to financial literacy. And there was there was just a question of like, hey, am I qualified to be talking about this? But I still knew that I wanted a platform where I could share the stories that I think are important. And so one thing that nobody can deny about me is that I am Peruvian. Everybody that meets me, like the first thing they know is that I'm Peruvian. The first thing I talk about is like it goes out of my mouth all the time. And so I felt like, okay, so this is something that I can talk about all the time and never get tired of it. And then I started to think about just my experience here growing up as as a Peruvian in the US. And there was not a lot of positive representation of Peruvians. Like I didn't grow up, I'm older than I think all of you. I didn't grow up with a lot of Peruvian representation of Peruvians. And so I wanted to change that because the Peruvians I knew were doing cool things in different fields. And so I started the season one, just interviewing most of my friends because I thought they were doing amazing things in their respective fields. But for me, it was multiple years of thinking about it, but never having the courage to do it. And then COVID hit, everybody's at home, people have more time, people wanted to connect. And so it was an opportunity to let me try this for a year and see how far I can take it. And then, you know, at least I tried. And it'd been 5 years since then. No, we're 5 years in. Just to let you know, your 1 year project became 5. Just to let you know. No,
Yeah. Now Whitney and Sam. I'm very interested about this. I don't think I ever asked you this before.
Well, I think honestly, I think it started off with mom, right?
Yeah, it
Since
was
mom.
mom was probably one of the biggest influences why we started our page. Go
Mhm.
for it.
Yeah, it was, well, for a while, she's always wanted something for the both of us to start. And I think this was during the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. She was like, you guys should do something. At this time, I think everyone was witnessing so many other businesses flourishing out from the pandemic, right? Because it kind of made people think um, outside of the box and kind of have time to sit there and think like, if they wanted to build on something, what would they build, right? So my mom would always tell us, like, you guys are sisters, you guys get along, you guys should do something like, make us proud. Like, you guys are like both like beautiful, like smart girls, like, you're capable of doing something and whatever it is, like, like I'll be here to support whatever it is.
Yeah, I think also like our mom, I think any Latina mom is just like son hermanitas, like you guys are all each other have. Like she's like, cuando yo no estoy aquí un día, like I want you guys to be close and just like always have each other's backs. So yeah, to what Sam was saying, like I think she was the one that kind of um pushed it to happen. And Sam and I have talked about collaborating into some way, making a platform, a page. And originally when we started talking about that and what that was going to look like, it was going to be a Latina page, not Peruvian. We were going to just be like full like Latinas, all Latinas, like everyone. And then we had like a name, we had a logo, like we were about to like push that. And then I'm not sure what it was, but towards the end of it, we were discussing, I think Natalie, to your point, it's like no one can deny like how Peruvian you are. And that's what you know best. So then that's what we were talking about like, well, that's what we know best.
Mhm.
Or like, let's push it to be Peruvian. And then that's how we came up with Peruvian Sisters. The name was just like also inspired by Peruvian brothers
Yeah.
because they're food. They're a restaurant. But nowhere in their name does it say food, catering, restaurant. It's just Peruvian brothers. So then we looked online and there was no Peruvian Sisters. So that's why we took Peruvian Sisters.
I love that. I don't, do they know that? Did you tell them?
I think so, yeah, because we met them a couple of years ago for a meetup out in the DMV area, and I believe we did tell them that.
I wonder also, you know, you started with the Latina point of view perspective, and that was actually a step I did as well. I started with like, financial literacy, and then I was like maybe a Latino, and I actually have a name too, and I was like, what was the name that you had? I'm curious. Um, but I think for me it was also like when you think of Latinos, like what has been sort of popularized here in the US, it never included us, right? It never included Indian people. It never included, it was, I mean, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but it's just the fact that our brothers and sisters from Mexico, Puerto Rico, Colombia. Colombia was probably the only South American country represented there, right? And so I know growing up, I always felt like left out. I'm like, and so I think there's a little bit of like, yeah, we're Latina, but I want to push Peru to the forefront of this Latino conversation.
Exactly. Even at the clubs, they shout out every country, and then there's
I
never
was gonna say
Peru.
that. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that it's the concerts as well. I think I made a few videos about this in my page as to like I go to concerts and I see the Peruvian flag. I was like, oh my god, there's one flag right there. We never get called out. I don't know if they don't know the flag or they don't see it. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that I see it in almost every concert that I gone. You know, so.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting how like your mom inspired that because my page was inspired by my uncle and because I started selling like math because I wanted to help this organization in Ayacucho. And like if you don't know my background, I did missionary work in Ayacucho when I got out of college. So to me it had a very deeper meaning. And that's why I wanted to create something to give back. And but how it changed in a year, because at the almost a year and a half or something like that later, maybe a year. One day, like you guys said this earlier, as to being denied I'm Peruvian, and like the first thing that people know about me is I'm Peruvian. And I sit down and I said to myself, "Was like, huh, that's funny. I'm gonna make a video about that." And that's how this whole thing has started, you know. And I guess my brand is about like it's. I know a lot of people get annoying about it, but it's just like Peruvians are so proud about being Peruvian that we bring conversation about Peru any way that we can. And I just find the humor in that because, like, I think a lot of people do it. They're very prideful of their country, but I can't deny them. My family does that. Like when my mom goes to a restaurant, y siempre dice, no, es que en Perú lo hacen mejor, and it's Italian food. Like, you know, like it makes no sense. But you know, like, but yeah, but I love that. I love that. Um, so I follow, I, how I found all of you is because one day I entered Instagram and I was like, let me search Peruvian pages because the only page that I follow was being Peruvian for many years. That's the only Peruvian page I follow. So I put Peruvian and I think I found Connie, and then Connie posted something that you guys, the sisters posted. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me follow them. And I think you guys had like 1,000 followers at that point. And now, before this interview, I look at your following. It's like, what does it feel like to have that many people follow you?
It's still shocking. I feel like I look at it and I'm just like, wow, that's like actual individual people, actual individual accounts that like did that action to take that one step extra to follow us, to see our content and like, be aware and like know about, everything that we post about. So it feels almost like surreal in a way.
Yes. Or events, right? Like the meetups that we do.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's really cute because when we decided to do our first meetup in Brooklyn, our first one was at Prospect Park. We had people that started finding each other through our page, and they were online friends through that first meetup, and even past meetups even after that. Um, they got to meet each other in person. They became best friends in real life. And that was really cute because they would tell us like, yeah, we like always wanted to like meet each other. And I felt like this, like you guys hosting this event, like gave us the opportunity to not only meet each other, but now make more friends too, and more Peruvian friends.
Hmm.
Better.
I am curious, has your vision for your platform changed for you as well, Sissy? With the time or just with gathering more followers?
Um, for us, I would say yes, and not in a negative way at all. I would say that I think at first, and what you can like test to this too if you want, but I think at first we kind of wanted to post more informative stuff about Peru, about its history, um, and stuff like that. And I feel like once we knew that people loved the meetups and loved meeting each other like in person and everything, I feel like that's kind of not what our complete focus is, but it's kind of like almost shifted in a way, in a positive way. And then to that, I feel like it just brought out more collabs, introducing us with other Peruvian content creators as well.
Yeah, I would say from a more visual standpoint, if you're looking at our grid now versus 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it was more graphic visuals, more single posts. But because of social media, TikTok, how the whole social platform is evolving, we have definitely become more video focused, reels, TikTok videos. Just I think that's just a way for people to grasp information a lot quicker and a lot easier than having posts back then that we had that had like paragraphs that you'd have to like swipe and read and stuff. And maybe some people don't have the time or don't have like the attention span to just go through all of that, where you can just absorb a video, an informative video quicker. And if it has captions too, you could be in like a loud environment, then you can still um, gain that information. So definitely more video focused than back then, which was just more graphic visuals, just singular posts, things like that. So yeah, it's been evolving a lot. And I think you just have to just go with the flow. Just
Be
keep,
open to it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you have to be open to it because it's like my page has did a major transition. So my when I did this interview with Nathalie, I was starting the page. So I'm turning 5 like in October, around that time, October, September. And had this vision and it went well, but the realization that I don't think I'm really good at running business. And that's like I thank my page a lot for making me realize a lot of things about myself. One of them being that, and the second one that I like creating stuff. Like that's the two things I learned in the past 5 years. I'm not really good at this type of business, and I'm a really creative person. And I always make videos, so it's just always been part of me. And the shift in this year in which I'm gonna be doing is actually putting my name more than because when actually I met people in person, they're like, "I'm Kuska," or something like that. And it's like, "Oh yeah, my name is Sissy. I'm sorry." Like, like, yeah, like they don't know my name. So that is crazy, right? And it's like, I do marketing for a living, right? So it's like, I advise my clients, I advise at work. It's like, yeah, we need to put the name of the owner and things like that. But I never thought about putting my name on my thing. So nobody really knows my name. So they know my face. they know they relate my face to like this orange color, which is funny. I'm wearing today orange as well, and but they don't know my name. So that's kind of like the shift I'm taking with my content as well. But I wanted to go back to the question about people following and followers to Natalie, because when I met with Nathalie, she didn't launch. Oh, or maybe she was already out with her podcast at that point, and I didn't know Nathalie. Nathalie didn't know me, so we were complete two strangers getting together and some to talk about something. So, what does it feel like now? Have that
Yeah.
many people, that many listeners too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Progressive USA has grown slowly, right? And recently it's grown faster, and it's because there's a partnership with another platform. Interesting theme. They're from Bolivia, but they're doing videos about Peru. And so listeners from Peru have grown, which is making me think if I should do more interviews in Spanish because, they're listening. They're listening for those Spanish episodes. In terms of listeners, I think what has been the most rewarding is when I meet people who say, "Hey, I listened to an interview from X person. I hit them up on Instagram and we met up. Now we're." I'm like, that is crazy because one person was like, "This sounds like a cool person that I want to meet." And because on the episode notes or in the post, I tagged them, they reach out. And I love that there's at least number one, nothing, there hasn't been any shadiness, right? There hasn't been any shadiness about reaching to others. And that to me, I love that because and I'm gonna tie it to one of the missions of the podcast is that, I think we have perhaps all grown listening to our parents talk about distrust in the Peruvian community. There's historical reasons for that being the case. If you go back to Peru in the 90s, 80s, and before, I think with the generation that's here in the U.S. or the diaspora, maybe they're in other places. I think we're cultivating this culture of more trust and more collaboration and supporting each other, and so that has been rewarding and it's what keeps me going, right? But like the stories like that, and I'll get like random DMs from people who are just like, I met up with this person, now we're friends, or I listened to this episode and it spoke to me. Also, the Peruvian adoptees that blew up, right? And so they started to listen to Elena's story. Again, rewarding for me to just think about, hey, I brought her story forward and others are able to relate to it. So yeah, it's been very.
So throughout the 5 years that I've been on my page, there has been, I can name like 3 times that I was like, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to quit it. I'm just going to stop making videos. I'm just going to disappear. And this is not for me. I calling myself out of it. Has there been occasions like that with you guys that you're like, I'm just going to call it quit? I just,
I'll go first. I think Whitney and Sam are still thinking. Yes, for me, for sure. There have been moments where I haven't said I'm going to call it quits from like, oh, I'm going to fully unplug it. But there have been times where I said, I'm going to step away from it. The thing is, I'll step away from it for like a month or something, and it still pulls me in. It still pulls me in. And the reasons I even think about stepping away for for some time is just my life has changed in the last 5 years, right? In the last 5 years, I got married. Now I have a toddler, and so my free time has been significantly reduced. That's really the main reason why I even think about stepping away. But again, the people that I meet, the ability to reach out to somebody who's doing a cool thing, who's Peruvian in the US, or even Peruvians abroad have reached out to me to interview on their platform. It's something that that is so special that I don't think I want to give it up, right? So that's what keeps coming. That's why I keep coming back. It's because of the people that I meet. I'm just impressed with everybody that I meet.
Sis, do you have thoughts?
Um, not the same thing as Natalie. I don't think I've ever sat there and been like, okay, I want to quit cold turkey. I think it was actually like transitioning into this year when we took on a lot of projects. Um, I think it was kind of overwhelming a little bit. But we ended up compromising and learning, okay, like as much as we want to take on so many different projects, I feel like it's important to time them in a calmly manner where we're able to work on this, work on our actual jobs, and then also still have a social life at the same time. I think that's also like a big healthy thing to do. Um, I don't, yeah, no, I don't think it's ever crossed my mind to actually like quit completely. Like Natalie says, sometimes I'll go on TikTok or on Instagram and I'll see, like not completely negative videos, but just other Peruvians relating to, like typical Peruvian behavior, or, on the other side, I sometimes see like other Peruvians just like saying not so nice things. And it just kind of relates back to the old saying of like, el enemigo de un peruano es el otro peruano. Like, I just don't agree with that at all. And I kind of just want to continue trying to break that saying for the new generation, because, we all come from, we're all rooted back to Peru in some way, somehow. And, I just don't want there to be any hatred toward each other or anything. I just want there to be love. Sounds corny, but
I actually relate to that a lot. In the first couple seasons of Peruvians of USA, I wouldn't say at least the first two, I think I used to sign off as like, hey, remember, and flipped it, right? I would say, el mejor amigo de un peruano es otro peruano. And I would get some comments about it. I'd be like, somebody would be like, nah. And I was like, in my experience, that has been the case. And so, and I'm sorry that has not been your experience, and maybe we can change it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But that's why I mentioned earlier that, like our parents, and understandably so, had this culture of, lack of trust, and but we're changing that, and I think that's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
What
love,
about you, sis?
yeah. First of all, I love how you worded everything very beautifully. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, that's right. Kind of like literally as you were like crazy right there, I was like T, right? Totally agree. I don't think I ever thought about stepping away either. But to Sam's point too, like because our platform is growing, there is a whole lot of opportunity for collaboration. More people have been reaching out. And as exciting as it is, I won't lie, it can get overwhelming. And I think what's beautiful about running a page with someone else, let alone your sister, is that comfortability that you could just be so real with each other and just be like, hey, like, let's just take a break. Let's just like, we don't need to do this today. Like, we have not only like each other, but we have our community to rely on. It's like, hey, let's just fact check this. Maybe let's talk to this person who would probably know a little bit more about this. So I think it's great to have been running this page for 5 years with my sister. And regardless, if we were to stop this page for any reason, it's like we will never stop being sisters and we will never stop being Peruvian. So I don't see a world where this would stop, because we're always going to be in each other's lives no matter what.
That's something, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's been a patience for me. I think mainly what has got to me is to get to that point of like, I'm just gonna leave, is negative comments. Like I get a lot of negative comments. I'm from facing most of my content is all from facing about me. And I get comments about everything. But I always bring this point back because it was like a 20, I don't want to say 2023, late 2022, where I was like, I'm just gonna quit. I was like, I just gonna stop making videos. And I had a friend that I happened to meet through one of your guys' posts. I can't remember. She lives in LA. We haven't met in person, though. Your friend. Funny enough, we live in the same area, but we never met in person. So that's sweet. I don't know. We still trying to figure out. But
Now I'm
guess for
curious who
why?
it is.
Oh, well, it's a need.
Say
It's
her
like
name and we
cool.
keep it out.
Edit April. No, no, she knows. She knows, she knows. So when I was in that contemplation of like quitting, she sends me a message and she tells me, "Hey, my Peruvian friend in Australia saw your video." And she sends me a screenshot. And she said, it's like, "Oh yeah, I know her. Like she knows me." Right. And then she's like, "Oh, tell her that she makes really cool videos." And it's just like that thought of like my video making it all the way to Australia. I was like, wow, like this is crazy, you know? Like social media really messed up with our brain saying um, like, for example, last week I went to a restaurant and the guy saw me taking videos and he tells me, "Oh, good a TikToker." And I was like, "Not TikToker, pero tengo an Instagram page." And me said, "Oh, déjame verla." Entonces, like, he starts looking at my page and he thinks it's like, "Oh, wow, you have a te siguen bastantes personas." And it's like, and I replied to him, I was with my best friend. I replied to him, it's like, "Oh, pero solamente son 6,000." And then my best friend is like, "Girl, like, like, she's like, so the SoFi holds 7,000 people. Like, a whole stadium almost follows you." She's like, social media has really messed up with our brains thinking that a number that is not this big number is not a big following because people make that choice to follow me. Either they hate me, they love me, they laugh, whatever, but they still there.
Hater
So,
still a fan. A hater still a
Yes.
fan.
yeah.
Still engaging somehow.
It's still engaging somehow. So I find it very interesting that you guys have like these breaks and things like that. Sometimes I feel like I cannot take a break. I think I have ADHD at this point because I see something online. It's like, "Oh, I have to do it. I have to do a Peruvian version of it because I have to do it. I have to do it." Like it's this my imagination and my inspiration strikes again. Like I think last year I was like after the Olympics because I was like recording the Olympics every day. And I was like, I'm just gonna take a break in September. That did not happen. Just like that something came up and it's like, but I truly I enjoy what I do. Because my purpose in life is to make people laugh. So if five people laugh about a silly video I made that took me probably 10 minutes to make, and then I'm doing myself I'm doing my what is it?
Community of service.
My community, no, my service.
Yeah. One thing I wanted just to say to you about your videos and how whenever there's a trend about, like uh, men math or women math or whatever that math trend that happened a while ago and you did Peruvian math, like I want to say thank you and how much I appreciate it because, we all talked about visibility and like the lack of Peruvian visibility and the fact that we can have our own version of that. Like you did that, right? You did that. And so I just wanted to take a pause and just like really appreciate it because we appreciate it. So that's the only thing I wanted to say. Thank you. It reminds me of like Coca-Cola, like, cause I don't buy Coca-Cola every day or think I don't have any Coca-Cola. So when I have an idea, I'm like running to the store to get that Coca-Cola for just the video. And that's just commitment. But because I'm committed, but go ahead, Whitney, sorry.
A video of you like seeing a trend, like running straight into the mattress. Inca Cola. Behind the
Wow.
scenes. Behind the scenes.
So you see this sticky notes, right, on my computer. These are ideas from trends I see. It's like, this is how I'm going to make it Peruvian. Like, so I'm always thinking about that. And, yeah, I mean, some trends hit, some don't, but I always find it's the commitment, honestly. And so, yeah, sorry, what happened?
No, I was just gonna say I love it. I definitely want to agree with Natalie. Like your videos make me so happy. I like having met you, even like I felt like I already knew you before I actually met you. And then when I met you, you're exactly the same.
Yeah.
I love that. Like you just show up how you are, like as you are, like that's you. And I love that about you. You're just very authentic and very funny. And I love your one of your videos that stick out to me is I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, but it was like July 1st. Like I know you did like your July 1st trends. But the one that's so cute that always sticks out to me that I think about is you coming, you opening a door and you slide down the hall and
Oh
you're
my
in
God.
your trenzas, you're in your trencitas and you're waving a flag and it's like Eva Yon and you're like, and you just start dancing.
Oh my God. You have no, I should post the behind the scenes of that one because I hit the tripod like 5 times. And that synchronizing of the scene Atlantic is like, it yeah, no, like it's work. It's work. It's work. And it's just like, and like when I finished, it's like, wow, that was commitment. Like, you don't think of like, like that's commitment. But you know what? Talking about videos, it's like one of my favorite videos of you too. It's like the ones that your mom and your aunt are on. But that one of your aunt dancing on the parade, that's me. I was like, oh, that's goals. Like, that's the mood for every day. Like, I want to be like that. Like that's my favorite. But
And I was gonna say for Peruvian Sisters, the one I kind of appreciate because my husband's not Peruvian is when you bring in your partners and you're
oh
like,
my,
I think you're in it for the food.
Yeah,
yes, yes,
I loved that one too. I loved making
yeah.
it.
that was
Side note.
yeah too. That one was Sam's idea. She was like, I think
Mhm,
we should do this but Peruvian version with the boyfriends. Sound like that.
yeah.
So funny.
I'm gonna lead on like that. They leads us to the next question, which is about how your partners and your family feel about it.
So
Because yeah, about like your page, your content, everything that you do. How what do they feel like? You know,
I think they're orgulloso, right? That's grateful, right?
proud. Yeah.
no,
Oh, proud.
what is proud? Yeah.
Yes, proud. Um, yeah, my mom sometimes like it's so funny because sometimes we'll have our like recently we had my dad came up to us and was like, oh, like his one of his coworkers was like, oh, Victor, like this is you, this is you, right? This is your daughters, right? So it's like, it just is so astonishing seeing how people recognize us, but then they also recognize our family members from our videos. So, I mean, definitely, I don't think my parents expected it to be this big or to be this like broad of so many viewers seeing it. So I feel like they're definitely like proud. Um, my boyfriend is definitely proud of it too. He's like, I remember when you guys first started talking about it, like, and like sometimes he'll keep tabs too. He'll look on our page and he'll be like, oh my God, like you guys are so close to like this amount of numbers. And sometimes he'll even look back at his videos that he's in. He's like joking around. He's like, I need my check because I was the one why you guys went viral in that video. And I'm like, okay, relax.
Yeah.
So funny.
He's really funny.
I
Yeah.
we all need to do a triple date again. And
Yes.
well too, Natalie. Would love to have you and your husband join.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's bring in the non-Peruvian husband as partners.
Yes. No, it's funny you say that though about the relationships because last night too, people were saying like, I love the videos with your partners. Because I think people can relate to that more, right? Because they come up here and they end up dating non-Peruvians. But going back to the reactions of family and friends, um, my mom, she's so cute because, well, first of all, props to our parents because anytime we ask them to be part of videos, they'll 100%. They never like, no, I don't feel like they're
Yeah.
100%.
Or
They're
whatever.
for the like. My mom won't even know what we're doing, but we'll be like, Mom, stand here. We need you to record this, and we need you to do this and say it. She's like, okay. Like she doesn't even ask questions. She'll just do it. But also it's cute because she'll see something and if it's like, I don't know, like ceviche day or something, she'll be like, you guys should post something on Peruvian Sisters or ceviche day. Like she'll see me
Mhm.
like, you guys should post about something. I'm like, okay, mom. Like she's just my biggest advocate, which is very cute. What I find funny is like the other last week I was in the car with my dad and I was telling him, I was like, we have this event happening and we're doing this and my dad's like, he's like, do you like enjoy doing this, right? Like, 'cause not necessarily the content making, but now like event planning and stuff, because now that's part of like what we do. And my dad, like, I feel like he was just like, just like being like concerned, and he's like, "Are you okay with all of this? Like, is this a lot for you guys?" And I was just like, I mean, like it just makes us happy, right? Like we're around other Peruvians, and I was telling him like I feel like I've learned more about my culture through this page, and more dances, and I can like do more dances at family parties now, and like I'm just really proud of that. So I like that he was just like coming from um being like a concerned parent, like just being like, "Is this okay with you? Like, are you all right with all of this?" And I was just like, "Yeah, no, like, I mean, like, I think it's great." So, boyfriends, yeah, boyfriends love it. They also come up. I feel like, yeah, like they'll have ideas too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe we'll do more.
Your boyfriend, Whitney, when I met your boyfriend, he was talking about a video that you guys made. And he's like, he said, and I'll never forget this. He said, it's like, I would have ended the video a little bit different though. I was like, I can't director. All my bad.
It's the filmmaker in him, but no, honestly, when he, I'm like, why didn't you say that after we put the video out?
Yeah. But how about you, Nathalie?
So talking about how like people can relate to not having a Peruvian partner, right? Like one of the most popular episodes of Peruvians of USA is being married to a Peruvian. When I interview my husband, of like, hey, how was that experience for you, right? And so it's definitely one of the most popular. I see it being reshared. I see the downloads, right? So it's just really funny. And so every Valentine's I just relaunch it because I know like people are gonna appreciate it. Um, and so it's just funny. And then also just talking about non-Peruvian partners, I went to Taste of Peru in DC and I saw this white man wearing a shirt that said, "Nothing scares me because my wife is Peruvian." And I like cranked that.
Oh my God.
And then the wife is coming from behind and the wife is like De La Selva. And so I was like, I get it, girl. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was funny. Like I took a photo of that shirt and I haven't shared it yet. My husband has been super supportive. He did the logo. So this logo that you see here, he is the one that did this logo. I have interviewed him several times about different topics. So from dating a Peruvian to like becoming parents, right? And so to like reflection of being a parent after a year or so, right? Those episodes are popular, and he's open to it. And a lot of the ideas similar to like they come to me last minute, and if I can do it, I do them quickly. And so the interviews with him, he has like no preparation. I'm like, hey, I have this idea. Let's start recording. And he's like, okay. My parents, on the other hand, is the opposite experience of Whitney and Sam. They know that I have a podcast, but I don't think because they're older too, right? They're older. They're in their late 60s, my early 70s. And so they're like, what is that? I'm like, it's like a radio. And they're like, okay. and
Wow.
so, and so I think because of that, um, they don't ask a lot of questions about it. They've heard a couple episodes in Spanish that I've done. My mom has, and she seems to engage in the conversation, but there isn't that like that same level of support that Sam and Whitney experienced with their parents, which is a little bit sad for me. But I also understand it from a generation perspective. That it's just not they don't understand social media and just podcasts like we do, or like a younger parents would. So that's been the sad part from it because I can't share it the same way. But with my husband, yeah, he's been very supportive. So.
That's funny.
I have a question for
That's
you.
funny. Yeah.
A question for you. Just going back to your family love podcast. Like, I'm curious. Like, at what age do you think you would like to like maybe start sharing some of these episodes with your toddler?
That's a good question. At what age? Depends on what episode. Think by like preteen age, she can listen to some of these episodes. I think she'd probably be old enough to understand. And, my plan is to take her to Peru, hopefully, God willing, every year of her life, like, summer vacation or something. So she would know, like, have some context about the culture and the country. But what I would definitely want her to listen to is the conversations I have with her dad about being
Mhm.
parents and about our relationship and this is for her, right? This is for her because I interview again, like I said, amazing people doing amazing things, just in different areas, and she gets to hear those stories, right? And so, um, and she gets to hear a recording of me at a time, at a specific time, right? And so, hopefully, it helps her understand me as well as a person, not just as a mom. And I think one of the um, one of the things that took me a while to get to as a daughter was to see my mom as a woman, as a person who has her own dreams, her own fears, her own regrets, right? And it took me a while, and it was like, no, you're just mom, and you're supposed to like help me, and it was very like self-centered, right? And so I want her to eventually like get to a point where like she also sees me like, hey, mom has her own thing going too, like she has her own dreams. And so um and my husband's more introverted, he's quiet, and so the fact that I have recordings with him that he shares his perspective on like, this is why I decided to marry you, like we go into those questions, like because he's African American, I'm not, so we could have married within the race, right, within the culture, and why didn't we, so we go that deep in our conversations. We talk about like, why did we decide to become parents, why was it a good idea, why, like, what could have we done to get better prepared, so there are conversations that I think once she's, well, those conversations once she's older, she can appreciate them, I think. But there are some episodes that she can understand at the preteen teen level. So
Hmm.
I
It's
love
beautiful. I started crying, tearing a little bit.
oh,
No, that's really beautiful because it's like it's almost like a little story for her.
Yeah.
And the podcasts are like forever basically. So yeah, very, very beautiful.
Not me.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah. I mean, Natalie, that's so true, like I'm glad that you make those episodes so that she gets the chance as she gets older. Unfortunately, I lost my dad like a few years ago, but I never got to know my dad. So I got to know my dad after he passed. And that was a whole journey in itself. And her having the opportunity for her to hear, I guess, your thoughts in general, like that is so beautiful. That's something that she could cherish for the rest of her life, you know? And like maybe if she decides to have kids, your grandkids as well, they get to have a little bit of history. Because unfortunately, I mean, my family, I don't know a lot about my grandparents. I know it's like, and I don't know if it's every family, but in my family, they kind of like, yeah, let's not talk about the stories from the past, the cool things that they did. And like, let's just talk about it when they're dead, and it's just like, and I stopped doing that. I started asking my mom things about her life and like the woman that she was before she had kids, and it has helped also my mom to understand me, uh, where I come from a lot of my decisions, But talking like going back to the support thing as well, like my mom, my mom is like supported with a backhanded comment, like she's like, that was a great video, pero debías de peinarte. O sea, debiste saber peinado. ¿Cómo vas a salir así? O sea, and like, she's like, but also my mom is on the older side as well, like Natalie's parents. She's like, so how do they find you? Like, how do you get that many views? You know? Because a few years ago, I posted a video of my grandma reciting a poem that she memorized when she was a child. And I told my mom, I said, oh, mom, it got like, I forgot how many views it got, like 3,000 or something like that. I got 3,000. It's like, wow, 3,000 people like saw it. And it's just like, yeah, mom, like that's how the internet works. It's just, with her, it's kind of difficult, but also my mom sends me ideas. It's like, you should talk about this. And it's just like, I don't know, mom. Like, I listened to it. Like, she sent me a list of like Peruvian phrases. Like, so for example, and I posted it on my story because I thought it was hilarious. One of them was like, parecemos arroz con mango. I was like, what the hell is an arroz con mango? Yo en mi vida nunca he escuchado que es arroz con mango. So I posted it and then someone told me what it was. But like, you see, that's my mom. Yes, my mom in general, she's just like that. Then my siblings are like, oh, that's so cool. Like, go you, And then my husband, he's the one that hypes me up. He's like, that's my number one fan. But also, he's also rarely on camera. He's behind the camera. So when I need a reaction, it's like I told him, you have to be a little more exaggerated. We're gonna do it again. Again, not gonna get like you go to my page. It's a resting video. It's the one that I'm holding the Inca Cola with my phone. My husband was like, we both were getting frustrated. We both were getting frustrated because the Inca Cola would not balance on the phone, you know? And he's like, it's because you're tilting your phone too much. And there was a point where I hold it and it's just like, leave me alone. Give me a phone. Just a second. And I appreciate, like, 'cause that is, that is a lot of love that he has for me because I have a vision and it's just like, and I'm always like, you're ruining the vision right now. So go away, So I appreciate that he has a lot of patience when an idea involves him, you know? So, but
And I feel like just going back to the being with a non-Peruvian or non-Peruvian dating a Peruvian, you have to have a lot of patience if you're going to date a Peruvian. Just like pro tip.
exclusively if they don't speak Spanish. Like my husband doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. So the humor, like sometimes my mom would say a joke and it's just like, how the hell am I gonna translate this? Like, and it's just like, like so I he's in a lot of my videos, but he also has a lot of questions about why Peruvians talk a lot about with fruits, and vegetables. Like he's like, well, what do you mean by that? Like I don't get it. Like like it's the joke. Like just get the. Like, I don't know how to explain the joke. That's just like hee hee, just do hee hee. I know for a little bit, like so. Well, not to wrap it up, but like, what is like, I shared two learnings in the past few years on my page. What is like things that you guys are taking away right now from your pages? Like, what have taught you, not about people, not about community, what about yourself? Like, what are some learnings about yourself that you taking away?
Although something that I've learned, it's about myself, but I think it's about something that anyone can relate to. It's just simply feeling enough, Peruvian enough, and what that looks like because it looks so different for everyone. And if it wasn't for our page and that first time that we posted, you are Peruvian enough, and like the reaction and engagement that singular post got, that was a big eye opener about how people view themselves, us included too, because we grew up in a very white town and it doesn't matter, right? Because being Peruvian to me is just enough as like it is to you, Natalie, and to you, Cece, and even to you, sis, because you can't deny our DNA.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I felt like I learned that about myself, but I also felt like a lot of people struggled with that, whether they were born in Peru and came to the US at a young age or were born in the US period. That wasn't even their decision or their choice in the first place. But no one should make you feel like you're not enough.
Beautiful. I love that. That is true.
That's right.
That's a big statement alone. Like I relate to that, Like I was born, I grew up in Peru and like sometimes I get that, it's like, oh, no lo entiendes porque no creciste en Peru or whatever. I'm like, that doesn't make me less Peruvian. Like,
Right.
What about you, Natalie?
The thing that I've learned, that's such a good question because as self-reflective as I like to think I am, that's a hard question. But I think in the last 5 years and the over 100 interviews that I've done, have taught me that I can create a comfortable environment for the interviewee to really share their story. And that's something that at first I didn't value as much because, we don't, as a society, we don't value the soft skills as much as we should. And sometimes also things that come easy to us, like we don't value it as much. Like we think that, hey, it has to be hard and I have to work at it for it to be valuable. And it doesn't, right? And that's a hard lesson that I'm still learning, right? I still have to remind myself about it. Like, you know, Sissy, one of your objectives is like one of your mission is to make people laugh. But you're funny, like you're funny, right? And I remember having this conversation with you years ago where you didn't think you were funny or like you didn't trust that you were funny, and then I had to tell you like I even sent you like a screenshot of a friend of mine who was like she's funny, and I sent it to you, and then and 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 so I think I'm learning that to appreciate that we all have different skills that might come easier to us, and that we should value those skills, right? Just because it's easy to us doesn't mean that they're not valuable skills. And so I've learned that through the interview, to have an interview over 100, Peruvians in the USA through the podcast. So, what about you, Sam? Any
Um,
thoughts?
Same thing as Natalie. I think that's a really hard question to answer. Um, Definitely feel like I have some more reflecting to do. Um, and I think this goes for just my person itself. Um, I feel like I kind of learned to come out of my shell more in terms of speaking in front of a big audience or a big group. Um, Trying to uh like break out of my shell a little bit. So I don't know if a lot of people notice, but in most of our videos or most of our announcements at the meetup, it's mainly my sister talking because I like to kind of shy away and say a couple things. So me and my sister just had a talk like this recently, and I was telling her, and she agrees with me that we she I want to be comfortable enough where it's like we're both evenly talking amongst a lot of people or amongst like in our stories and stuff like that. So I feel like it's helping me grow out of my shell more. And I'm learning to be more comfortable with who I am and showing that who I am as a person and being comfortable with that. Um so yeah, it's coming along.
The journey.
Yes, definitely.
The journey.
She
Yeah.
definitely has a big personality. You have to hit a certain point where like you see that come out, but she really does have a big personality.
Yeah, I have a pleasure of meeting you both. Yes. I do have
I should, all of you actually.
yeah. Yes, we met. I went to LA last year, no, 2 years ago, and we met up in LA. Um, what I do have a question, Sissy, unless you have another wrap up question. No, I
No,
do.
go ahead.
So I'll start with you, Cece, and then move to Sam and Whitney. What are your hopes for the next 5 years? I know that's a big question, and it doesn't have to be 5 years because the world's changing faster than it has been in the past. But like, yeah, like what is next, or what do you hope that yeah, what is next for you?
Yeah. So one of my biggest goals, and I think is, in LA in general, something that we struggle a lot is um, events for like younger Peruvians. When I mean younger Peruvian people around my age, there's a lot of events here, but a lot of it is invitations to the older generation, that they have immigrated here and older and like, they have years here and they in this between their friends. So like that kind of what I envision is taking, I guess, my page a little bit on the outside to create events. It's very difficult in LA too because they're very separated. And like something I noticed in New York when I was there is that there's more of a community because you guys could go anywhere with the train and transportation and things like the accessibility to that, it really makes a difference on the community as well. And LA, since we are so big as well, and the lack of transportation, for us to unite, there's not like a center hub. There's not a hub. It's like this is like where everybody could come and it's easier or things like that. Like, we are so dispersed. Like some are in like East LA, some are in Norwalk, which is far from LA for people who are not familiar with it. So it is that. So that's one of my main goals. And then when it comes to my page, for the next 5 years, I want to continue doing what I'm doing because I enjoy making people laugh. And if anything, my page has taught me is that that's my purpose in life. And I'm not planning to become a comedian, mom. No te preocupes. No, no estoy pensando en eso. Es, but it's continue to make people laugh and to see other types of Peruvian, another type. Because I make my videos 90% in English just on purpose because I was like, there's people out there that Peruvians, all Peruvians have to just speak Spanish. And because of that, I met people that are in France. So they're French and Italian, they speak Italian. And I mean, we have that Padula, but he's also Italian Peruvian. So like people like that exist. So that's pretty much what I envision. Maybe not the next 5 years, but the next 2 years for sure. Yeah.
The next 5 years, still want to continue this. Possibly maybe it being like a full-time content. What?
Yeah, we have a special guest.
Oh,
They're reacting
Oh.
to the fact that we have a special guest.
So cute. Oh my god. It's so cute.
Like you have your mouth smile. I can see it. I can see it.
I had headphones on. She can't hear you, but she can. ¿Qué pasa? Este es el mic. ¿Quieres decir hola? Hola, dile. Okay, go to mute. Sorry, Sam. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, maybe pursue this as like a instead of like a part-time thing, maybe like a full-time thing. Definitely would like to expand our meetups to, other states or maybe even like outside of the country, possibly. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe go on like Peruvian brand trips or of some sort. I don't know. But that's all I have. You want to go, sis?
I agree with the traveling, right? Because when we started our meetups in New York, because that's where we're based, people comment all the time about like, what about LA? What about San Francisco? What about Texas? What about Florida? What about all these places? And we would love, like, we've talked, like, yeah, it would be amazing to just
Peruvian tour.
yeah, like literally, and we joked about that too in the past. We're like, oh, let's go on tour. Let's hit all these other places, right? And it would be great to be able to do that, and even international something, right? Just travel to continue doing this, right? To have the opportunity to be paid, to have the opportunity to just get flown out, put on events for the community, and yeah, not have to think about how many PTO days I've used for it.
Right. Right.
So would love to do that. And I think just personally, just like continue learning about myself and my culture.
By the way, I love that traveling idea. Yeah, like if you got, yeah, if I can support that in any way, let me know because I love it. For me, like 5 years, I think it's really hard. But I think most immediately is to kind of going back to your point, Sissy, of like people don't know you by name. It's kind of bringing more of myself to the platform. I'm not gonna say I'm a very private person, but I do have some hesitation to show fully like my life, just like from a privacy perspective. But I want to be able to bring myself more to the platform and talk about topics that are also important to me from a Peruvian-American lens, like like big goals that I would like something to happen in the next 5 years, kind of relating to what Whitney and Sam mentioned. It's like let's have like a Peruvian conference festival, something like that, when we're all like con somewhere and we all kind of know each other, and like everybody can have their own panel or their own like just share what your platform's about, and have good food, good music, and find ways to collaborate with each other, but like be present in one's place. um how's that gonna happen? I don't know yet, but at least I said it. And that would be like amazing. I know Harvard. I just released an episode where we talk about the conference that happened in Harvard earlier this year. That was very specific to the economy and political situation in Peru right now. But I want like more like a Peruvian-American conference, like Peruanos and Estados Unidos conference or something like that, of all the platforms that are happening now, like us coming together. So that would be fantastic. And then the other one would be to bring back the scholarship. We launched the scholarship like 2-3 years now, and that was an amazing, rewarding, probably the thing that I'm most proud of from this platform. Unfortunately, was not able to keep it up, but like to make that like something that happens every year, I think would be amazing as well.
Let us know how we can support you.
Yes.
Thank you, of course.
I love all of this, the Peruvian-American conference. Walter, you interview Walter. So I know Walter through Nathalie. And we've been keeping in touch throughout the years. And then Walter did a conference somewhere, I don't know which university he did. And he talked about the Peruvian-American experience on this presentation. And after he did it, I was like, oh, I posted his post, like, oh, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then he tells me, he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I want to let you know that I used one of your videos to represent Peruvian American experience. I was like, oh my God, why would you do that? Like, which video? No, he didn't even use one of like my funnier videos. No, he used the one I posted this on Halloween in Música de Criolla. Is I was wearing a turkey suit in this one. And then I started dancing festejo on it. So like, and it's just like, he taught vision. I was just thought like, why would you do that? Like that, it's a funny episode. It's a funny thing I made, but it's just like in front of like scholars. It's like, not why would you do that? Like
So Walter was like, and here's a video representing Peruvians in the U.S.
Exactly. That's really nice. Like this is the representation of navigating to culture. But I mean, looking back at it, it's like, yeah, kind of, it's Halloween American and
yeah,
we got criolla, like, so
yeah,
it's just like, everybody asked me, it's like, why a turkey suit? I'm sorry, that's the only custom I had. So, like, but yeah, but I think that's it. Anybody else has any question? No?
yeah. All right, Sissy, thank you for facilitating this conversation. I know it was last minute. You did a wonderful job. I think you definitely should explore facilitating more conversations like this. You're more than welcome to be a guest host anytime you want in Peruvians of USA. And Whitney and Sam, thank you so much. I know you had a busy day and you made the time, and I'm so happy that it finally happened after 5 years. I've met you in person before, so at least we had that. But I'm so grateful to the three of you for making the time and making this happen. And now, hopefully, we get to meet again in person, and all the dreams that we've spoken to the universe happen. So I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. One last thing. Happy 6th anniversary to all of you.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to all of us.
Yes, all of us.
Happy anniversary. Thank you so much.
Hey there. If you're a small business owner or entrepreneur looking to reach a proud and growing Peruvian American audience, I'd love to invite you to sponsor an episode of Peruvians of USA. Whether you're just getting started or already established, sponsoring the podcast is a great way to share your story, promote your products, and connect with a community that values culture and connection. We offer simple, culturally inspired sponsorship packages starting at just $50, and every ad includes a shout out on social media and our newsletter. To learn more and see your options, head to visit peruviansofusa.com/sponsors. That's peruviansofusa.com/sponsors. Thank you for supporting this platform and helping amplify our voices.
Thank you for listening to Peruvians of USA. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts. It lets other Peruvians find the show. If you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Peruvians of USA. I'm looking forward to connecting with you there. All right, talk to you soon. Ciao.